everybody, it's a friendly neighborhood Rez, and I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Gabbie Hannah. She's an interesting character, to say the least. I'm going to attempt to figure out how she's relating to herself as well as the internet, and how the internet is relating to her in turn. Or rather, not relating, because that's really what it comes down to. So, I guess let's just start with the Jessie Smiles thing, because that's the thing that I feel like everybody cares about the most, and rightfully so. It's pretty disgusting. And you know what's funny? I guess ultimately I really just don't care about the situation at all. I just don't. I guess you could say it's a big deal that Gabbie is, out here talking about Jessie Smiles and stuff like that. And, it is a big deal for Jessie, right? But how is it a big deal in general? This whole thing, the hate for Gabbie Hannah, the love for Gabbie Hannah on the other side from her fans. All of this is feeding into the narrative that she's already got in her head. You know what I mean? All these T channels reporting on her constantly. All these people all across the internet talking about her as if they actually give a fuck. You know what I mean? Pretending to give a fuck so that they can feel justified in talking about it. It's that for me, right? It's people having insecurities about themselves or not being able to focus on the things that they should be focused on in life, and so they get on the internet and just have everything to say about things that have nothing to do with them at all. That's where I'm coming from. I mean, Gabbie Hannah's clearly mentally ill. Clearly. The reality that she lives in is one of her own making. Whatever intention you give to her, period, is going to feed into her narrative. So if you care about her at all, actually care about her, you would leave her alone. Because once she's alone and doesn't have any energy to feed off of, then she'll see, oh, I'm doing this to myself. That's really all it takes for a motherfucker to just be alone for a while. Because when a narcissist is surrounded by yes men or no men, it really doesn't matter. When there's no one around her who can just say flat out, I'm not going to feed into your narrative in any way. In any way. You know what I mean? There's nobody around her that's like that. Everyone around her is either placating to her or painting her as a villain. When really, she's just a very hurt individual who doesn't have that much empathy. And you know what? I've been hurt by plenty of narcissists in my life. But I don't hate them. You know why I don't hate them? Because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what the fuck love is. They don't know how to love themselves. They don't know how to love others. They don't have the capacity to do that. They're doing what they have to survive. How they survive is supply. You can't be constantly giving someone supply and then complain when they keep popping back up. The internet, to me, is like a cat who brings a cricket into the house. They'll bring a cricket into the house, they'll play with it, and play with it until it's dead. Plays dead. The very second that it feels like the coast is clear, and it tries to get back up and, try to survive again, here comes the cat. And in a way, I don't know. It's like you could say that the internet doing this to her is for her benefit in the long run. Or you could say that it's to her detriment in the long run. Because here's the thing. If you feel like the way you're interacting with the world is working for you, who can tell you you're wrong? If Gabbie feels like she's getting something out of all of this supply that she's getting from the outside world, if Gabbie feels like she's getting something out of it, who can tell her she's wrong? And why does everybody all across the internet feel the need to be telling her that she's wrong all the time? Because they want to feel right. That's what all this is about. Everybody just wants to be right. It's just funny. I appreciate Jessie Smiles for doing her video and the way she did it, because she didn't villainize Gabbie. She just laid out facts, and that's what everyone needs to be doing. Why do you feel the need to villainize people? The reason you villainize people is so that you can make yourself feel better, because you don't know anything about Gabbie. You don't know what kind of traumas that she suffered. You don't really know. You have no idea. You don't really know what she's been through. I feel like most cluster B mental illness is just the suppression of things that happened to them when they were very young. And it's like they have this deep-seated insecurity. Maybe even a certain lack of self, some people are just not strong enough to address that lack of self or that deep-seated insecurity, and so they have to cover it up with a bunch of masks and just stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you feel like Gabbie is doing bad things and that she deserves punishment, for all intents and purposes, you know, report her channel. Let YouTube know that you don't want her channel to be on YouTube anymore. Not that that's going to happen, because a lot of people who've done much worse shit still have YouTube channels. So I don't think that's going to happen. But, you know, if that's your prerogative, ignore her. You know what I mean? If you feel like giving her any type of attention is bringing negativity into your life and your mind and ruining a semblance of your happiness, for all intents and purposes, shut that off. Don't feed into that. Don't. But don't feed into it and then be surprised when she keeps popping back up. That's my thing. Gabbie's such a bad person. Okay? Like, what do you get out of saying that? What do you get out of assuming someone's moral standing? What do you get out of that? You guys are pumping yourself up by comparison. Oh, Gabbie's a bad person. I'm a good person. I haven't done the things she's done. I'm a good person. It's fucking stupid. You're sitting at home doing nothing, commenting on things that people do on the internet and feeling good about yourself because they're getting lambasted publicly and you're not. It's like, Gabbie has a real problem. She really truly believes that anyone who is not on her side is against her, and her brain is doing whatever it can to keep that narrative alive. Her brain is willing to nitpick whatever it can to make itself feel like it's a good person. Because that's the narrative that everybody loves. I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I don't do anything wrong. And then there are people all across the internet who are like, Gabbie, just quit it. Stop embarrassing yourself. What's wrong with embarrassing yourself? I don't like that Gabbie's rehashing all this shit. Especially not the Jussie Smiles stuff. But better out than in, I always say. You know what I mean? This is what she feels like she needs to do. For whatever reason. I don't think it's appropriate or productive to speculate about someone's moral standing because you don't know what they're going through emotionally or psychologically. You don't. You have no idea what the fuck is going on with her. You have no idea what kind of life she's lived. You have no idea what kind of emotions and trauma she might be repressing. And that's when I say it's a huge miscommunication, because Gabbie is very much a narcissist, wherein she feels like she deserves certain things, right? She wants to be special. She feels like she deserves, attention. She feels like she deserves certain things in life. And when you do all this extra shit on her behalf, just what do you think is going to happen? Why do y'all care so much? Or better yet, why do you pretend to care so much? Do you care about Jussie Smiles that much? Or do you just want someone to point to and say, yeah, you're a bad person and I'm a good person? It seems to me that her very sense of self rests on what other people think of her. So whether you know it or not, you dictate the conversation that is ultimately a miscommunication. You have all the power. She wants so badly to manipulate you into thinking that she's a good person that she doesn't have the capacity to walk away from the situation. Does not have the capacity. Y'all, on the other hand, y'all can stop talking about her whenever, and it will be no sweat off your back, unless some of your identity is tied to painting Gabbie as a bad person. Right? If that's not the case, you should be able to let it go. Or is it the case that everyone in the situation is mentally ill to some degree? Everybody in the situation is feeding off of everyone else's bullshit. Is that it? What is the truth? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I just don't like all of these people all across the internet, from just saying straight up hateful things to all the way to the other side of the spectrum where they're trying to give her advice. Like, look, you could give the best advice in the world, but if it's not coming from a place of love, it's not going to be taken well. And even if it is coming from a place of love, you need to recognize that Gabbie is not in a place to receive that. When you have up as many defenses as Gabbie has, it is impossible. It is impossible to take things in a reasonable way. And so people who fall into this category of mental illness are beyond words. They are. They are beyond words. Save your energy and just walk away. The internet really thinks that if they lambast her enough, she'll change. Like what they did to Trisha. Yeah, they bullied her into changing, and then the second it didn't suit her anymore, she went right back to the way she was because, of course, because that's the way she is. That's the way these people are. That's just the way they are. The whole internet is trying to bully her into being a good person. As if she's just going to wake up one day and be like, you know what? Maybe I'm the one who's in the wrong. I'll change. Change comes out of wanting to change. She clearly doesn't want to change. She clearly likes the way that she's interacting with the world. Like, it doesn't matter how many people say there's something wrong with you. If you don't think there's anything wrong with you, for all intents and purposes, there isn't. Just walk away. Just walk away. Seriously. This is an issue between Gabbie Hannah and Jessie Smiles. Or Gabbie Hannah and whoever else she has hurt. This is not an internet issue. And the fact that you guys feel the need to insert yourself says a lot about you. I'm just saying. And those are my thoughts. If you don't like them, suck an egg. I don't know. Bye.